Hey, if you've been around Victory for any amount of time, you may have heard that we support some mission work in India. And September of this year, which is 2023, myself along with some other guys were able to visit those works. And so the purpose of this video is to give you guys, our church family, just a clear picture of what we're doing in India, what those things look like, who the people are that are helping us do it, and plus pass on any updates that we discovered in our recent trip. There are three ministries that Victory supports in the country of India. The first one is kind of our flagship project. It's called the Janie Children's Home. It's named after my mom, who is the champion of this children's home. What the Janie Children's Home does is it houses 40 boys in the southeastern portion of the country of India. And so these boys live there, and what the home provides for them is a safe and stable place to live. Many of them come from impoverished families, but they're able to move there, live there, and be a part of that environment, which is much more healthy for them to live in. From that environment, they get to focus on their education. They do go to public government-funded schools, but they live there at the home, and from that environment, they can really take full advantage of the educational opportunities that are provided for them, even in the public school system. The boys also receive in this home 3 square meals a day, plus snacks even, which is more than most people in that area could afford. And so because this environment is so good, that it's such an incentive for the families around there, they want their children to be involved in this school. And because people want to be there, it gives us the opportunity to do the most important thing, and that's to share the gospel with them. Most of these families in this area are either Hindu and Muslim, so at the Janie Children's Home, we're able to present them with the gospel. Plus, while they're there, they're cared for by a really loving, godly staff. And so this is a beautiful place, and Victory is the sole source of support for the Janie Children's Home. They do not receive funding from any other place. So let's talk about what that funding looks like. What does funding look like from Victory for the Janie Children's Home? Well, first of all, we send money monthly to them for their daily operations. As a church, we send $1,775 a month to them so that the home can operate. Now, during the Christmas season, we send a special offering to them. We send $1,500 offering to the children's home specifically for Christmas every year, and that's to provide a Christmas party for these boys, plus to give gifts for them. Also, at the end of the year, as a church, what we do is we take up an offering for the Janie Children's Home. We've done this every year since this thing has been established. In most years, it's the only offering we take up at Victory is for the Janie Children's Home. This offering is specifically for upgrades and repairs and maintenance on the facilities there at the Janie Children's Home. In past years, we've been able to do some really cool things. We provided a generator for them because power there is not dependable. We provided refrigeration, which most people don't have there in that area, so they have refrigeration for food. We've provided for a kitchen expansion and upgrade so that they could continue to make healthy meals for the boys there. We put in a water heating system, which is kind of unique to India. It's kind of an interesting system, but the boys now can take hot showers. In the dining room, we were able to put tables. Most people in that area sit on the floor and eat, but our boys, there's some beautiful stainless steel tables. Everybody has a chair. They can eat their meals at these tables. A couple years ago, this was really fun. We provided beds for them because, again, a lot of people in that area, they just sleep on the floor. But at the Janie Children's Home, there's beautiful beds with mattresses and sheets and pillows and everything. It's really comfortable for them. And when we were there in September, they were really excited to show us kind of the latest upgrade, which was a set of lockers. So each boy has his own locker. It's kind of his own personal space to put his own personal effects in. And they were so proud to open those up and show us. Everything was so neatly stacked in there. It was really cool watching them enjoy what you as a church have provided for them. There's 2 buildings on the property, and the space in between the building wasn't covered. And so a couple of years ago, we paid to have that covered, which really what it did was open up another meeting space for them. And it's an outdoor meeting space, so there's good airflow because it's a hot area. but it's covered, and then we put ceilings fans under there, and so it's a really comfortable meeting place. And one of the main upgrades we did, this is really funny, years ago we paid to have a fence put up around the campus because you know what was happening? Water buffalo were wandering onto campus and threatening the safety of the kids. So it's been our pleasure over the years to make those upgrades, and that's been done through a yearly offering that we collect for the Janie Children's Home. Second ministry we have in India is a ministry to widows, but it's actually done through the facilities and the staff of the Janie Children's Home. The team there saw that there was a need to minister to the widows in their community, so they began on their own ministering to these widows. When we were there in September, we were able to see it. What they do is they invite these widows there on a Saturday afternoon. They feed them a meal, they share the gospel with them, and then they send them home with food for the rest of their week. So they started doing this on their own, paying for it out of their monthly budget. Once we saw that, we said we need to get involved. So what we've done is we've committed in 2024 to increase our giving specifically for the widow feeding program. So we are increasing our giving to them by $125 a month, specifically to feed these widows. And so these two ministries happen through the Janie Children's Home. And the family that runs it there, we have come to know and love. It's a beautiful family. They're called the Sunan family. And the father's and the husband's name is Sunandan. The wife's name is Ketzia. They have a son named Retna and a daughter named Janie, who oddly enough was again named after my mom. So that's what's happening. This all happens in a little village called Jagarampali. The Janie Children's Home and the widow feeding program facilitated by the Sunan family. Plus there's a couple of cooks on the payroll. There's a security guard that lives on campus, and there's what they call wardens, who are younger people who actually live among the boys and make sure that there's presence there around the clock for helping to care for these boys. Our third mission in India is called the Sister Betty School. This is a private Christian school in the town of Rajahmundry, which is a town of about 300,000 people in India. There are 70 students in the Sister Betty School. Now this school is a great alternative to the public school system that's available there in the city. Plus, they emphasize the teaching of English, and so it's very attractive to the families around there. It's free, and it teaches English, and so people want to be a part of it. Because they want to be a part of it, again, it gives us the opportunity to share the gospel then. As we're teaching them English, as we're educating them, we can also share the gospel with them, because these children mostly come from Hindu or Muslim families. And so we support the Sister Betty School on a monthly basis. As of 2023, we were giving $200 a month to the school. Beginning in 2024, we are upping that to $300 a month. Victory is not the sole support of the school. There are other people who give around the world. We are going to be contributing $300 a month beginning January of 2024. Plus, while we were there, the staff there showed us some needs they had for repairs and upgrades of their facilities. They showed us a roof that they're having trouble with. They have windows that don't have glass windows in them. There's concrete in the courtyard that's all broken up. Plus, the really cool thing is right across the alley from them, a little street, is a piece of real estate that they own that's a prime area to put a playground in, not just for the school, but for the community. And so they shared vision to put a playground there. However, it's going to need a wall around it, a fence around it, and some playground equipment. So they shared these needs for us, and the needs turned out to be a pretty significant amount. However, as we prayed about it and we talked with our team, we decided to respond to that need. So in October of this year, last month, of 2023, we sent a check for $9,650 to them to address that need. So there are three ministries that we support in the country of India. There's a Janie Children's Home, there's a Widows Feeding Program, and there's a Sister Betty School. Of course, it's our privilege to do that. We're so glad to be working in the continent of Asia and touching lives in a different part of this globe. And you know, the Bible says that the purest form of religion is to minister to widows and orphans, so it's our pleasure to do so. And of course, we couldn't do it without support from you. Even your regular tithes and offerings to the church goes towards supporting these missions, plus you give on top of that. And so your support has enabled us to reach kids on the other side of this globe, and we're so glad to be a part of that, to be able to do it. And so thank you for those of you who give, and by God's grace and your continued giving, we look forward to doing this well into the future.